ladies and gentlemen, citizens of America, and all those inspired by the story of leadership. We are gathered here today to discuss a man who has become one of the most iconic, divisive, and impactful figures in modern political history. Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States, is a man who has shaped the conversation around politics, governance, and leadership in ways that few others have in recent memory. Whether you admire or criticize him, there's no denying that Donald Trump has left an indelible mark on the United States and the world. Today, I want to speak about Trump not just as a political figure, but as a symbol of resilience, determination, and the power of belief in oneself. The rise of a businessman, from real estate to the White House. Donald Trump's story begins long before his entry into politics. Born in Queens, New York, on June 14, 1946, to Fred and Mary Trump, Donald was raised in a family that embodied the American dream. His father, Fred Trump, was a real estate developer, and Donald followed in his footsteps, joining the family business in the early 1970s. Under Donald's leadership, the company grew from a regional real estate operation into a global brand synonymous with luxury, ambition, and success. The name Trump became not just a name, but a brand. Trump's business ventures expanded beyond real estate into the realms of casinos, hotels, golf courses, and even entertainment. He became a household name with his reality television show, The Apprentice, which showcased his business acumen, leadership style, and famous tagline, "You're fired." The show painted Trump as the epitome of a no-nonsense businessman, someone who could take charge, make tough decisions, and turn failures into successes. But Trump's ambitions were always bigger than business. For decades, he toyed with the idea of running for political office, speculating in interviews and speeches about how he would run the country if given the chance. His rise to the White House was not born out of a lifetime spent in politics, but rather from a deep belief in his own ability to lead and his conviction that America needed a radical change. The Outsiders Campaign, 2016, and the Power of Defiance. Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign was unlike anything the American political system had ever seen. He entered the race as an outsider, a businessman with no prior experience in public office, running against a crowded field of seasoned politicians. He was doubted, ridiculed, and underestimated by the political establishment, the media, and even members of his own party. But through it all, Trump displayed an unwavering confidence in his vision for America. His message was clear. He was going to make America great again. Trump spoke directly to the frustrations and anxieties of millions of Americans who felt left behind by globalization, ignored by elites, and forgotten by the government. He promised to bring jobs back to the United States, to secure the borders, and to put America first in all aspects of policy, from trade to national security. Trump's campaign defied the odds. He took on the Republican establishment, battling seasoned politicians like Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz, and ultimately secured the Republican nomination. But that was just the beginning. In the general election, he faced off against Hillary Clinton, a former First Lady, U.S. Senator, and Secretary of State, someone with deep political experience and vast resources behind her. Yet, despite the predictions of pundits, pollsters, and political insiders, Trump defied conventional wisdom. On November 8, 2016, Donald Trump won the presidency of the United States in a historic upset that shocked the world. His victory was a testament to the power of belief, the strength of conviction, and the ability to connect with the American people. The Trump presidency: disruption, change, and unrelenting confidence. Donald Trump's presidency was nothing short of transformative. He came to Washington with a clear mandate to shake up the status quo, and that is exactly what he did. His administration was marked by a bold and unapologetic approach to governance, one that sought to challenge established norms, confront global adversaries, and redefine America's role in the world. Domestically, Trump pursued an aggressive agenda focused on deregulation, tax reform, and economic growth. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 was one of the signature achievements of his first term, lowering corporate tax rates and encouraging investment in the U.S. economy. His administration oversaw record-low unemployment rates, particularly among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and women, before the COVID-19 pandemic upended global economies. Trump also pursued a tough stance on immigration, vowing to build a wall along the southern border and implement stricter immigration policies. His America First approach resonated with millions of Americans who felt that previous administrations had neglected the country's interests in favor of global alliances and international agreements. Whether it was pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement, renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCA, or taking a hard line on China's trade practices, Trump made it clear that his priority was the well-being of American workers and American industry. On the world stage, Trump was a disruptor. He met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to cross into North Korean territory. He challenged NATO allies to increase their defense spending and confronted global institutions like the United Nations with his blunt, unapologetic rhetoric. Trump's foreign policy was built on the premise that America should no longer be the world's policeman, that the U.S. would act in its own interests first and foremost. The controversies and challenges, defying political norms. Of course, no discussion of Donald Trump would be complete without acknowledging the controversies that surrounded his presidency. From the Mueller investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election to his impeachment trials, Trump faced unprecedented scrutiny from both the media and his political opponents. His presidency was marked by a constant clash with the press, whom he famously dubbed the fake news media for what he perceived as biased and unfair coverage of his administration. But in the face of these challenges, Trump never wavered. He refused to back down from his beliefs or his agenda. For Trump, controversy was not a weakness. It was a part of the battle. He thrived on conflict, using it as fuel to rally his supporters and push his policies forward. His Twitter account became a tool for bypassing traditional media and speaking directly to the American people, further solidifying his image as an outsider who wasn't beholden to the political establishment. Perhaps Trump's most controversial moment came in the final year of his presidency, during the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic tested the resilience of every government in the world, and Trump's administration was no exception. His handling of the pandemic drew both praise and criticism as the U.S. grappled with the health crisis, economic fallout, and social unrest. Yet even in the face of this global challenge, Trump remained committed to reopening the economy and preserving individual freedoms. The 2020 election and beyond, a political movement. The 2020 presidential election was another defining moment for Donald Trump. Running for re-election during one of the most turbulent periods in recent history, Trump once again found himself facing a formidable opponent, Joe Biden, the former vice president and longtime senator. The election was fiercely contested, with record voter turnout and intense debates over the direction of the country. While Trump ultimately lost the election, his impact on American politics was far from over. The Trump movement, often referred to as Trumpism, continued to resonate with millions of Americans. His influence within the Republican Party remained strong, as candidates across the country aligned themselves with his message of populism, nationalism, and anti-establishment fervor. The events surrounding the 2020 election and its aftermath, particularly the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, left a lasting mark on the nation. Trump's role in these events and his ongoing influence on political discourse has sparked debate about the future of American democracy. Yet, despite the controversies and challenges, Trump's base remained loyal, viewing him as a champion of the forgotten man and woman, a leader who fought against the entrenched elites of Washington, D.C. The legacy of Donald Trump, a new era of politics. As we reflect on Donald Trump's life and career, it is clear that his legacy is far-reaching and complex. He was not just a president. He was a cultural phenomenon, a lightning rod for political debate, and a disruptor of the status quo. Trump redefined what it meant to be a politician in the 21st century. He showed that a political outsider, armed with determination, charisma, and an unshakable belief in his own abilities, could rise to the highest office in the land. Whether you support or oppose his policies, one thing is certain. Donald Trump brought the voice of millions of Americans into the political conversation. He gave a platform to those who felt alienated by traditional politics, and he sparked a broader debate about the direction of the country. His leadership style, characterized by boldness, directness, and a refusal to conform to expectations, has left an enduring impact on the Republican Party and on the American political landscape as a whole. Conclusion: the power of belief and resilience. In Donald Trump's story, there's a lesson for all of us. It is a lesson about the power of belief in oneself and the resilience to pursue one's goals, no matter the odds. Trump's rise from a businessman to a television star to the presidency of the United States is a testament to what can be achieved when you have the courage to dream big and the tenacity to see it through. Trump's journey reminds us that success is not guaranteed, and the road to achieving one's goals is often filled with obstacles, criticism, and doubt. But as Trump has shown, the key to overcoming these challenges lies in unwavering confidence and a refusal to be deterred by adversity. As we look to the future, the story of Donald Trump will continue to be written. His influence on politics, business, and American society is far from over. Whether as a businessman, a politician, or a cultural figure, Donald Trump will remain a symbol of resilience, ambition, and the enduring belief that anything is possible in America. Thank you, and may we all find inspiration in the power of belief and the courage to pursue our own American dreams.